Today we're going to talk about one of the most shocking and symbolic strikes of the Russia-Ukraine war. But this time, it involves Poland. For the first time, reports have emerged of Polish-made drones striking Moscow's $1.6 billion skyscrapers, tearing through Russia's defenses and leaving the Kremlin scrambling. And the fallout? Reports say Putin was furious. This wasn't just another attack on a warehouse or a military depot near the front lines. No, this was a strike deep into Moscow, right into the glittering towers that were supposed to symbolize Russia's wealth, progress, and untouchable security. In this long-form breakdown, we're going to explore everything about this incident. How the Polish drones were used, the physical damage to the skyscrapers, the financial and psychological shockwaves it created, the failure of Russian air defenses, and most importantly, what this means for the future of warfare and the future of Russia itself. The towers of wealth and power. The towers that were hit are not ordinary office blocks. These are skyscrapers in Moscow's International Business Center, often called Moscow City, worth an estimated $1.6 billion. With gleaming glass facades, luxury interiors, and high-powered tenants including banks, corporations, and government offices, these towers were Russia's pride. They were built to rival the skylines of London, New York, and Dubai, symbols of Russia's modern power. For years, Moscow's elites believed these towers were untouchable. Surrounded by advanced air defense systems, far removed from the battlefields of Ukraine, they were thought to be immune from war. But as the strike showed, no skyscraper is safe when drones can reach them. The strike. Drones over Moscow. On the night of the strike, Polish-designed drones, operated in coordination with Ukraine, reportedly flew hundreds of kilometers into Russian territory. They evaded radar systems, slipped past missile defenses, and hit the very heart of Moscow's financial skyline. The result was devastating. Glass walls shattered, smoke poured out of the towers, and alarms echoed through the streets below. For the first time, Muscovites witnessed foreign drones slamming into the core of their capital. Videos of the explosions and the aftermath spread instantly across social media, making headlines across the world. This wasn't just another attack. This was a demonstration. A message that Moscow's most prestigious, most expensive, most symbolic structures could be reduced to rubble in minutes. Inside the towers, panic and chaos. Inside the skyscrapers, scenes of chaos unfolded. Office workers, executives, and staff scrambled for safety. Emergency sirens blared. Shards of glass rained down inside boardrooms and hallways. Furniture was overturned by the blast. Sprinklers went off, and emergency lights cast eerie glows across smoke-filled corridors. Some of these people were among Russia's wealthiest and most powerful, the elites who had always felt insulated from the war. Suddenly, they were running for their lives inside towers they thought were untouchable. That image alone was worth more than the physical damage. It shattered confidence among Russia's ruling class. Polish drones, small but deadly. Now let's talk about the drones themselves, because this is where the story gets even more dramatic. These weren't billion-dollar jets or heavy missiles. They were small, unmanned aerial vehicles made in Poland, designed for asymmetric warfare. Cheap to produce, easy to operate, but incredibly effective. For a few tens of thousands of dollars, Ukraine and Poland were able to field drones that penetrated one of the most heavily defended cities in the world. They slipped through Russia's Panzer systems, evaded the S-400 batteries that were supposed to shield Moscow, and struck billion-dollar towers. The cost-to-impact ratio is extraordinary. On one side, drones worth maybe $20,000 to $50,000 each. On the other side, damage to a financial district worth $1.6 billion, plus international humiliation, shaken elites, and an angry Putin. This imbalance is the story of modern warfare. Russia's defenses fail again. For years, Russia has sold the world the image of invulnerability. Their missile systems, were supposed to be the best in the world. The Kremlin bragged that Moscow was shielded by an impenetrable dome of defense, yet time and again, drones have slipped through. This latest strike involving Polish drones is the most embarrassing yet. If drones built outside of Ukraine can penetrate Moscow's defenses, what does that say about Russia's supposed military superiority? The Kremlin is now forced to ask itself uncomfortable questions. How many billions will it take to fix these gaps? Can they even be fixed at all? And this is why, according to reports, Putin was furious. Furious that his billion-dollar defenses failed. Furious that his billion-dollar skyscrapers were left smoking. And furious that the world saw Moscow's vulnerability in real time. The emergency response. After the strike, Moscow's emergency services were put to the test. Firefighters rushed in, police blocked off roads, medical crews treated the injured. The skyline, once filled with calm reflections of glass and steel, now echoed with sirens. Casualties were limited, but the damage was clear. Floors were gutted, windows shattered across dozens of stories. And most importantly, trust in Moscow's security was broken. These skyscrapers were designed for fire alarms and evacuation drills, not drone warfare. Suddenly, the most modern towers in Russia looked fragile and exposed. This is where the true power of the strike lies. Not in the physical damage, but in the symbolism. These towers were meant to show the world that Russia was modern, wealthy, and unshakable. By striking them, Poland and Ukraine sent a message straight to the Kremlin. Even Moscow's symbols can burn. For ordinary Russians, the attack was a wake-up call. For elites, it was a terrifying reminder that money and influence cannot guarantee safety. And for the international community, it was proof that Ukraine, with support from partners like Poland, can reach deep inside Russia itself. The financial consequences are also huge. Moscow's $1.6 billion business towers are not just real estate. They are ecosystems. Banks, corporations, and foreign investors all have stakes in them. Repairs will cost millions, insurance premiums will rise, and some companies may reconsider their presence in Moscow altogether. International investors who already worry about sanctions and instability now see drone strikes on skyscrapers. Confidence in Moscow as a safe global business hub just collapsed even further. This is asymmetric warfare in action. For a few cheap drones, Ukraine and Poland managed to cause financial disruptions worth hundreds of millions. The global impact, a new era of drone warfare. But this is bigger than just Moscow. This is a signal to the entire world. Drones have rewritten the rules of war. Cities are no longer safe just because they are far from the battlefield. Skyscrapers, airports, and government buildings are now potential targets, no matter how advanced their defenses. This raises questions for every major capital, from London to Washington to Beijing. How do you defend civilian infrastructure against swarms of cheap drones? Can it even be done? Or are we entering a new age where every city must live under the shadow of drone strikes? Back in the Kremlin, Putin's fury is understandable. The strike not only damaged Moscow physically, it humiliated Russia politically. His air defenses failed, his billion-dollar towers burned, his elites panicked, and the whole world saw it unfold. Now Russia faces a dilemma. Does it pour billions more into defense systems that have already failed? Does it retaliate against Poland, risking escalation with NATO? Or does it quietly admit that its capital is not as safe as it once claimed? None of these choices are easy, and each one carries enormous risks. For Poland, this strike is symbolic as well. Long one of the most outspoken critics of Russia and one of Ukraine's strongest allies, Poland has now shown that its technology can play a decisive role in the war. This isn't just about drones, it's about influence, reputation, and power. Poland has emerged as a frontline state, not just in geography, but in capability. The conclusion: no safe skyscrapers anymore. So what does all of this mean? It means that the strike on Moscow's $1.6 billion skyscrapers will be remembered as a turning point. It was not just another strike, not just another headline. It was proof that drones, even small, inexpensive drones, can change the course of modern warfare. The skyscrapers will eventually be repaired. The glass will be replaced. The offices will reopen, but the illusion of safety is gone forever. The Russian elite will never feel truly safe again inside their towers of glass and steel. And as for Putin, his fury cannot change the facts. Moscow was struck, Moscow was humiliated, and Moscow's billion-dollar skyline was exposed as fragile. In this new era of drone warfare, no city, no skyscraper, no symbol of power is untouchable.